And then right here, this is what our miners were looking for. This is a lead of white quartz. There's an old saying about quartz that if you follow it, it will lead you to the gold.
Just an itty bitty ditty about a couple on the road, driving an RV, pulling a toad. No place special to roam, not looking for a home. Won't you come along with us? We are RPlaceTravels.
Well, good afternoon. We're here at the Moriah?
Mount Moriah Cemetery.
We're at Mount Moriah Cemetery, where Wild Bill Hickok and Calamity Jane are buried.
And Seth Bullock.
Oh yeah, he's on the other
The
side.
sheriff.
We haven't seen. Yeah, he's not buried by Wild Bill.
Also known as Timothy
Offlunt.
Offlunt
In the show
Timothy
Deadwood.
Offlunt played the part of Seth Bullock.
Yeah.
About a mile away from downtown Deadwood is the Mount Moriah Cemetery. And this is where Wild Bill is buried, along with Calamity Jane.
When she died, she said she wouldn't be buried beside Wild Bill.
That's her last request.
Yep.
Along with Seth Bullock is there.
And he's in a different section, though.
Yeah, he's in a whole, I guess there's an older part of this cemetery, and he's up there. So it takes a little hike to get up by his.
And it's all uphill.
Yeah. Other known people are, like, right next to Wild Bill's is Potato Creek Johnny, who was known for discovering the largest gold nugget. He got famous for that. Other people that are there are, you'll see, we went and visited the Adams house, and it was owned by two people, the Franklins and the Adams, and both of their
graves are there.
Their graves, both of their graves
Yeah,
are here.
and they have beautiful tombstones.
Yep.
And they have a section that has the people that didn't have any money to be buried, and there's no tombstones for them. They're in the one section. It's called Potter's Field, and there was a whole big section of that. And then they had a section. They had the section with the mass grave. And the most tragic was there was one section that they said it was a diphtheria epidemic that was from 1878 to 1880. And it was all full of children. They have a flag that's there, and they actually requested to have the flag flown 24 hours a day. If you're in Deadwood, you see this lone flag just up there, and you just don't know what it's from. But when you get up to the cemetery, you realize that's the flag that you see all the time in Deadwood is the one from the cemetery.
They have a overlook where you can actually see from the cemetery. You can look on the whole town.
Just to go there, just to look at all the old graves and the stones, and it's got a lot of history.
There was actually a working, I don't know if it's working.
It's not working.
Used to be a working gold mine right outside of town, downtown, called Broken Boot Gold Mine, and now it's just a tourist stop.
But it's very interesting. We learned a lot.
You can get to go through the mine and see what it was like to gold mine back in the day.
Right down here, that very small hole, that is the original entrance to our gold mine.
When it was running, it was done all by candlelight. And I don't understand how they could do it. And I couldn't see anything. I don't know how these people dug up all this stuff.
But I am going to turn off those lights to show you guys what it would be like for those miners. So this is all our miners got. Each set of miners would get one candlestick for their 10-hour day.
Now they have actual electricity in it, so we could actually see what they did. It is down the road from Lead, which they still have working mines there.
So 1918 was the last time we were operating. We operated for a total of 26 years, getting 15,000 ounces of gold out. Does anyone want to guess what this weird chunk is? This is actually a boot. You can see the shoestring of the boot hanging down below. If you're a little bit confused, the heel of the boot is on the wheelbarrow and the top of it is flopped towards me. So this is where we get the name, the Broken Boot Gold Mine.
Brianna panned for gold even, so that was fun.
Yep, I think she made about $10.
Great.
I got gold.
Can you see it? Can you see it in there? Oh yeah. Good job.
I can go home now. She's got what she needs. Yep.
We did take one day and drove into Sturgis just to see the Mustang rally, which was kind of neat, but I don't think Nana or Brianna were all that into it. But I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah, and we made sure we were there after all the motorcycles were there for the Sturgis rally.
Yeah. The motorcycle rally was like 3 weeks before we were even there. And then the car show was the first weekend we were there. And the Mustang rally was the second weekend we were there. So the second weekend had a lot of Mustangs around. But the first week with the car shows, they were just everywhere. Just north of Deadwood, it's like a museum. It's called Tatanka, the story of the Bison, in which I didn't realize it's actually owned and built by Kevin Costner. I guess you could call it a museum to try to remember the Bison and the Lakota people. But you can't, we're not allowed to take any photos, so we didn't take any photos of it. But this is another place that we visited.
It has so much information in it. It has a lot of the outfits that people had inside of the museum that they had in the movie, and it was filmed there, so that's why he's got like a special connection there. There was a Lakota Indian there that talked about growing up there and his people now and in the past and that, so that was interesting.
Good morning. We are in Deadwood, South Dakota. We're getting ready to go, and today we're going to the Adams house. Looking to have a great day today. Come with us and see what we can find.
The Adams house was built in 1892 by Deadwood pioneer Harris and Anna Franklin, and later purchased by William E. Adams in 1920.
This house is a beautiful example of the Queen Anne style architecture that was popular in the 1890s when the house was built. Queen Anne style architecture features irregular shapes, and that would include the sloping roof, the turret, which is the round part of the house, the contrasting building materials on the outside, and the wide front porches.
Both of them were two prominent Deadwood families. Adams and his brother had a grocery business in Deadwood, and it made him wealthy. The house sat for about 50 years after W. E. Adams' death in 1934.
The interesting thing is that most museums that you go into or houses, they find that era of furniture and put it in. Well, what happened at the end was the husband died, and his second wife, Mary Adams, left everything intact. About 80% of the furniture that's in that place are directly associated with the Adams family. So it was somewhere in that house, and so it was original. The sheet music on the piano, books in the library, china, medicines that are in the bathroom, and even some of the cookies in the cookie jar. All of them were there. When they came to preserve the house, they really didn't have to buy any of the furniture. All the furniture was original pieces. Even the walls, they had them restored, but they left pieces open of the wallpaper or the paint that they had used, so you could actually see the coloring of the original from the first people and how they preserved it. You do get to see a little piece that was very original in the house. So is this color original?
Well, actually the canvas stretched over plaster is original, but it was a lighter green, and then when Nathan moved in, he painted over it this darker emerald green.
Okay.
Which I think that's why this room is my favorite room in the house, because I love this emerald green. But it is original, just painted over. And this plaster frieze up here is three-dimensional. It's original. It was brought here in pieces in 1893 and then assembled up here. Now it's faded, but the restoration team didn't want to touch that. They just wanted to leave it that way.
It looks beautiful. So that, to me, a house like that has the original furniture means more to me than somebody that has gone and gotten a house. They just look around for that time period pieces and just stick it in that house. So you really got a look of how the people lived at that time period.
Now the restoration process took place over 2 years, from 1998 to 2000. It cost $1.5 million to restore this home. So basically this house is almost exactly the way it was when Mary left it in 1936.
Thanks for coming with us to Deadwood.
We had a lot of fun there in the whole area. There's a lot of things to see.
And to do.
Now we're heading down to Keystone, South Dakota. We're staying at Spokane Creek Campsite, just outside of Keystone.
We'll probably be there for a couple weeks. It's over by Mount Rushmore and the Custer State Park.
So we're going to go down and explore that area. Don't forget to smash that bell, subscribe, and like us.
We'll leave the button up on the top. It's got a picture of Shelly on it, so you can subscribe there.
We'll see you down the road.
Bye.